right, MSU on three. 1, 2, 3.
MSU.
Hi everyone, glad to have you joining us this evening for the Tim Clifton Coaches Show. I'm Stuart Jolly, and Coach, over the weekend came back to the normally friendly confines of Mirror Stadium, and real tough afternoon for the Mountain Lions.
Yeah, we came up short. I thought we had some miscues there. Several of them, I think, if we'd executed a little better, could have very easily been up 10-0 at halftime. And instead, you're down and you're fighting your way back. But I thought we came out the second half with a little bit more intensity than we had in the first half.
As Tim was saying, first quarter, everybody's kind of just getting into the groove, scoreless first quarter, and everybody's like, okay, this is good. This is good. We're going to pick up where we left off against East Tennessee. That was the intent. Brutally hot afternoon, though. Did that in some way play into the equation?
I don't know. I think we don't have a lot of depth, and I think that plays, especially on defensive line, when we lost another defensive lineman in the second quarter, and we're already thin there. I think that plays a part there, but we didn't have as many guys that cramped up as they cramped up in the first game against ETSU. But anytime you have some guys not playing because of injury, the chances of getting tired all happen.
So they're in the first quarter. We're scoreless. Second quarter, Darrell McLean puts the first point on the board. They get on the board first. The Bears coming in from 5 yards out. Shaw takes a 7-0 lead at the 7-12 mark in quarter number 2, and then Marsh finds Bender on a 13-yard pass to extend the Bears lead to 14-0 going in at halftime. From a fan perspective, home team down at the half, a lot of people talk about these halftime adjustments.
Right.
Is that just kind of overrated? Is it a matter of just going back in and refocusing, guys, we're going to come back out, play our type of football in the second half?
Yeah, I think a lot of times you got to come out and play with more energy. And we did. We came out and played with more energy, got the safety, and moved the football. I think the other thing you try to do at halftime is you try to make sure that any adjustments you make, you try to get to them before you come out and visit with each position, which we do, and then you let the two coordinators try to get to the guys, and then you bring them together. And we have two separate locker rooms, so we have to find a classroom and then get into a locker room and get everybody. The new field house will give us what we want in the aspects of when we come in at halftime. The locker room will be big enough and we'll have everybody in one spot. Then it's a lot easier when you bring them together as a team to talk to them about the things that we need to do in the second half.
Well, and obviously some of that refocusing, re-energizing worked. Ferdinand comes out, tackles Plaxton in the end zone. Lions get a safety. That's coming at the 7:34 mark.
Right.
We're just getting underway there in the third quarter. Cuts the lead 14-2. Austin Brown comes in. Latter part of third quarter, we score again, and it's a 14-9 ball game as we close out the third quarter.
Yeah, I felt really good there. I felt like, we'll have the opportunity now to get where we missed the opportunities in the first half. We'll take care of them now in the second half. And when I went 14-9, I felt really good about where we were at the way we played in the first half. So I felt really good there. And we kicked off and let them run a kickoff back past midfield. We just missed a couple of tackles. We hit him, really hit him backed up. Yeah. We kicked it and he bobbled it, and sometimes when he bobbled it, you get down and you're there too fast sometimes, but we just missed 3 tackles right there. If we make the tackle where we hit him, it's going to be behind the 20, and now you're right where you want to be, but we let them cross midfield, and then they got a big play on us.
And they started up that kind of Bender and Marsh show that had been going on a
Yeah.
little bit in the first half,
Yeah.
and then the Lions adjusted defensively, shut that down. Third quarter, not so much, and then fourth quarter, it's like, uh-oh, it's back.
Yeah, and I thought we did some really good things adjusting at halftime to get the run game stopped. And the first drive of the game, it was, we had an 11-play drive and didn't score. They had a 22-play drive and didn't score. So the first quarter was gone in 2 drives. And I thought the second half we came out, we stopped the run game better, and we gave up a couple of big plays, and then we missed a couple of big plays on offense that we should have made.
Well, and it's still 21-9. It's still manageable then, but Lions fumble the ball. Carter picks it up, punches it in with 6:22 left. That was kind of the go-ahead score finally for Shaw as they ended up winning 27-9. How important is it in a game like this? Okay, we've already talked about the weather, a little bit hot in the afternoon, but time of possession. How important it is for us, particularly not having some of the depth, some other squads. How important is it to be able to just methodically move the ball down the field?
Well, I think the weather, both teams had to play in Saturday, and so they might have 1 or 2 come out cramping more than, I don't think we really had anybody to cramp. I think where it comes into play is you get so many reps, but we ran more plays than they did. We just didn't control the ball time-wise like we normally do, and our goal is going in this season is get better in the run game. We've always been real good in the run game, and last year was a down year for us running the football. And we're coming in this season, it's obvious over the years since we've been here, if we throw that thing in the 22 to 26 range, we're going to win. When we start throwing that thing in the 40 range, we're not near as successful. And we're working daily to get better in the run game. I think that's our goal, is to reach out where we can start running the football and controlling the clock. So a lot easier when you're controlling the clock to win games, especially tight games. And that's our goal, is each week to get better and running the football. I mean, Austin's proved we can make some throws and we can do some things, but it'll be the offense. If you're running it, you can pick when you throw it. And when you pick when you throw it, you're a lot more successful.
Well, it takes, simply put, it takes the burden off the QB.
Yeah.
That he doesn't feel like he has to make everything happen all the time. It's a more balanced attack.
Yeah, and we do a lot of checking at the line of scrimmage. We do a lot of work of giving Austin an opportunity to make some checks and make some plays. And if we're really got the run game going, then it just makes it easier for him. It makes it easier now. He can just find where we want the crease to be and where we want to run the football. And it makes the mechanics and makes everything easier for him.
We talked last week that kind of the East Tennessee State game was pretty much a running back by committee. We talked about that, and that we would begin to settle in. Now we're game number 2's out of the way. Are we settling anymore? There's still some big question marks there.
I think we still got some work to do to see who that running back's going to be, who those top 2 guys are going to be. But, you want somebody to take that bull by the horns and take that thing, and that's it's been sort of by committee. And I don't mind doing it by committee. One year we had George Washington, who was really good.
Yes, we did, which ended up quite well.
Yeah, and Stripling was really good, and Jonas Randolph was a freshman. And by mid-year, those guys were good, but you could tell that freshman was fixing to take this thing for the next 3 years, which he did. And George had it for a couple of years. And what you want is you want somebody to say, all right, I'm going to force you to play me. I'm going to force you to make them tackle me. And we've got 4 or 5 that are battling, and somebody's got to step up. You know, 1 or 2 of them, a couple of them got to step up. And I don't mind by committee, but you sure want to get consistent. And I think these guys can do it. I think we got some guys that can get this done and
very balanced.
Yeah, and make it easier on the QB, make it easier on the receivers. You know, so many teams are coming in trying to stop 2 of our receivers and working on bracketing.
And it makes it easier on our defense too, because they
you run
get
the clock
that's
out,
right.
They get to rest, and you'd much rather control the clock more than anything else. And when you get in, if you get into those games like we had with Pembroke last year, where it's 45, 55, and well, there's nobody has. It's whoever got the ball last. What you want to do is set the tempo, being physical, running the football, and that's our goal, is to get better each week at that.
Sounds good. We're going to come back and talk some individual statistics. We'll have some player interviews, that and a whole lot more right after this. Welcome back. Now we're going to have an opportunity to discuss a little bit about the Mountain Lion offense. We've already mentioned some of the key players, but want to focus at some of the numbers that they put on the board over the weekend in terms of passing percentages, yards gained, and things like that. Austin Brown, 244 yards completion, going 27 of 42.
Yeah, I thought he did. Austin did some good things and managed the game there. And we'll get better as the year goes. I mean, as we go through the process. But I thought Tyler Ferguson had probably his best game as a Lion, since he's been here. And he's a guy that's fought through this thing over the years to get in the lineup and work. And I'm proud of the way he came through and played. And you're going to get, if you get the ball to Rucker in some space, he's going to make plays, but people are starting to bracket him up in front and over the top, and some other guys have got to make plays. And I thought Tyler did a good job of making some plays, and I thought Cowart did a good job of catching the ball, and we threw some balls in there that he just reached out and did a great job of catching. So what we've got to get better at is we got to get better in the red zone. We haven't been very good in the red zone, and when we get out there, we got to score. We can't come away empty. We either got to score kicking field goals, we got to score touchdowns, and we'll work extremely hard this week in the red zone. The other thing we got to get better at on offense is third down conversions, and that'll be an emphasis this week, is third down conversions and the red zone and goal line.
Statistically, you mentioned Tyler Ferguson, 68 yards on receptions. Clarendon Cowart, mentioned him all as well, 66 yards. So a good afternoon for those young men. That some names that have, I've not announced here at this stadium, so it's good that they're getting that time out on the field. Elijah Jett, he had 68 yards on 12 carries, averaging just shy of 6 yards per carry. And you mentioned venerable Craig Rucker. He was on the receiving end of 8 passes, 79 yards, 3 kickoff returns for 51 yards. So again, mentioning that, the one puzzle piece that's not in there is the traditional Mountain Lion running attack.
Yeah, we usually go have a guy rush for over 100 yards or better. in the years past, and I think Jed saw some creases and did a good job of getting in some of those creases. And the other thing is, we've got to convert. We got to be in some third downs that put ourselves in some 3rd and 3s and 4s and make them, and not some 3rd and 9s and 10s. But I think if we work extremely hard to get that run game going and really get our red zone going. We were 1 for 4 down there, and if we score every time down there, it's a different ball game.
We're going to come back. We'll talk about the line defense right after this.
I just did not have a lot of stability.
I was facing foreclosure.
Not working at all, didn't have any money.
I could not go to school and work, so I found Mars Hill.
The experience here has been so wonderful.
It's been amazing.
I was able to have the full-time hours without the full-time load.
They are just incredibly supportive.
And Mars Hill is very affordable.
Mars Hill University Adult and Graduate Studies, education that moves mountains.
I will be the first in my family to graduate with my bachelor's degree.
Welcome back. We just finished talking about some of the features of the Mountain Lion offense, and now it's time to talk about some of our key players on the Mountain Lion defense. Trey Smith leading the Lions, 13 tackles, 9 for solo, Tim, including 1 for loss over the weekend.
Yeah, Travion over the years has just gotten better each year, and has hung and worked extremely hard on our program, and he's turned into a really good linebacker for us, and he's learned how to fit, where to fit, and where the ball's going to go, and when he fits in the right spots, the ball's going to come to him. And I thought he did a really good job on Saturday of being in the right spots a lot of times.
One of our player features, Chris Ferdinand, he'll be coming up in a few minutes. He had 9 tackles, 6 solo, 3 tackles for loss, and that safety for the Mountain Lions. We talked about it last week that it's just good to have Chris back on the field.
Yeah, going through last year with the injuries was really tough on him, but he plays very physical. We moved him to outside linebacker from safety, which is a good spot for him and a good spot for us. And he plays extremely hard. He's very physical. But the beauty of Chris is he comes to work every day. He and Tyler this week won the hard hat award. For the guy that comes to work and puts that hard hat on and works, and he comes every day, and the week before Austin won it because Austin comes to work every day. What you try to get is you're trying to get guys to come and grind every day and work extremely hard on the field, and if you have good practices all week, it's going to show up in the game. I think we practiced as well on Tuesday as we had practiced the week before, and I think that it's all relevant. You got to come out and you got to grind, and everybody's got to put a hard hat on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday and Friday. But that Tuesday and Wednesday, those days are grinds, and Chris comes out every day and works extremely hard.
And as you and I had talked before, how important it is from the leadership standpoint, these young men. You've got the underclassmen, or maybe folks that have transferred in even, that are not familiar with how the Tim Clifton program works and how all the puzzle pieces fit together, and it's so beneficial to you, I'm sure, as head coach and the entire coaching staff and the players that have been here 2-3 seasons, that you have this dedication that other folks can model, and you hope that continues year to year.
Yeah, I think as we talked about it in the spring, we started with a play cancel, and we started talking about the fall and things, the culture we wanted to develop and the things we wanted to develop. And I think Austin and Chris both have been instrumental in that. And the young kids are only going to follow the vets. They don't, especially freshmen. We have a very young football team. And I think we have a good group of young guys, and I think our vets have done a real good job. And I think what they've got, they only know what those veterans are going to show them. And if a vet comes out and works extremely hard, I mean, just like Austin, he's going to come out and work hard. And Aruza, he's going to see it and he's got to work hard. And Chris is going to come out and work extremely hard. And those young those young defensive players see how hard he works, which makes a difference. And now you're trying to get them all to have the same culture, and that culture is to work extremely hard and day in and day out have great character and you know, characters when there's somebody watching you. You know, how you act when nobody else is watching. And that's the culture we're trying to build. And then get them to play extremely hard and be very physical. And, you know, we pushed it last week. We didn't do as good a job as we're going to do this week. But we got to be the most physical football team on the field.
Two other names of note, Josh Dawkins, Jaden King, they had 6 tackles each. Two names are, again, we're beginning to see more of as the season progresses.
Yeah, and Josh has been here for a while, and he needs to step up and play. He's been here for a long time, and he's been through several injuries, knee injuries that have really sort of slowed his play down over the years. He got hurt his freshman year and had surgery, and you know, so he's been through some adversity here with injuries. And Jaden, we brought him in the spring, and he's a North Carolina kid that was up in Michigan. We brought him down, and he breaks his hand, you know, fractures his hand, and has been playing with a cast the first 2 weeks of the season. You know, so we're looking forward for him to get that off his hand. I think he'll make more plays once that gets off his hand.
Well, and I think when we talked to the pregame to the East Tennessee State game, you mentioned one of the keys to the success of this season will be how they handle adversity, and that's the type of adversity we're talking about.
Yeah, and you know, he's come back. Chris has come back, Ferdinand, from injuries, and it's not like Austin hadn't taken some shots over the years, but you just gotta, you know, guys gotta work to come back, and now some guys got to step up because we lost Connor Jackson before the season ever started, starting defensive end. Now we lose a starting defensive end, you know, Tyler Sims on Saturday. So now you got 2 of the guys that playing on the edge on each side that are gone, so some young guys are going to have to step up.
Well, we broke it down statistically and quarter by quarter. Now, let's take a look at last week's game against Shaw University's Bears. Welcome back. Glad to have you sticking with us here this evening for the Tim Clifton Coaches Show. We've talked about the game, and this is the good part of this show in which we get to feature some of the Mountain Lion players. And Austin Brown, it's my case. I've called your name for a number of years. Local young man from Irwin, played for the Warriors Irwin, hometown officially, the Asheville metro area. But we're glad you're here. So far this year, look at your numbers, 44-67, 66% completion rate. Talk to us a little bit about, this is my senior year. I'm here, I am the guy with the starting position. Little bit of pressure?
I wouldn't say pressure. I'm just glad to have the opportunity. This being my 5th year. I've been here for many years and watch us be a winning program. Have a down years. And I just come this season, just to bring my A game. These coaches, what they want done, and all the young players that come in and the players that are here now, the vets. Just dial in what they want. Just pull the rope together. So that's basically my whole philosophy this year, my senior year. Just everybody pulling that rope together.
Well, and Coach talked about it before the break. The responsibility that you guys are really, you're mentoring these younger players, and they see what your work ethic is. Yeah. They see the level of performance, and that's, you're setting the bar high, which is great. But at the same time, it makes it tough on them, which that's all right.
Yes, sir.
Makes it different. Let's talk a little bit about the transition from the role you had last year to the role this year.
Last year, I guess, some people say, I was one of the, number 2 guy for David, everybody felt comfortable, with David out there, and then if he went down, everybody, it wasn't like a panic. This year, we have a freshman guy behind me, and, I don't know if they're real sure about it, because he's so young. So I think there's like a high demand for me, because there's really a young guy behind me that really has no experience. So I think this year it's, like you said in the beginning of this program, pressure, so just pressure,
Expectations going into this season. You talked about, wanting to improve on what we did last year. This week, we have Lenoir-Rhyne. We open up conference action. Last year, the Bears came to our place as the season opener. This year, we're going to go down there. Talk to me a little bit about the level of competition here in the South Atlantic Conference and what that means in terms of, okay, we beat people, it's really good. We beat a league team, it's really good.
Yeah, like you said, this is a very, very tough conference, and watch them on film. They look a lot better than they did last year. The new coach staff or whoever they have, over there, they've done a great job. But like you said, playing in SAC, we're one of the nation's, I guess, toughest leagues. And coming in this game, it's really big. First conference game away, 6 o'clock. So. Be a big one for us.
How important is it to you, being local, do you see some familiar faces show up in the stands and make the trip sometimes?
Yes, very, very. And I always want to come, with the W, winning, but sometimes it doesn't happen. So I look forward to that too. You know, I get every text every now and then, hey, thanks for tickets here, there. You know, all right, let me see what I can do for you. So, stuff like that.
Let's talk a little bit. We wind down the season, work toward obviously senior graduation. What are your plans moving forward?
Into the season or after?
Season and then after.
Season, I just want to go out with wins. You know, as much as possible. You know, just put my team in the best situation to win. Make sure preparation's perfect. And then after, just continue, to be around the game that I love. Coaching. Be a teacher. Just bring what I have to the plate to young adults. High school, either middle school, whatever. What takes me. So just want to change. Kids or high schools, whatever you want to call them, adolescents. Just change. Have a big impact on people.
Well, it is wide open for those opportunities, and we're glad that we do put some familiar faces up in the stands to see you play. And if you get a chance, I've seen this young man from high school level all the way up through the college level. Tim and I talked about this the first pre-game we had going against East Tennessee State. One of the things that I've really enjoyed about you over the years is I can see that intentional effort out there, that you're all the time thinking ahead, like, I'm not going to put my team in a bad situation. You're always trying to be one or two steps ahead, and well, I guess that kind of comes to the turf for the QB job.
Yes, sir. Of course.
Makes a difference.
Yes, sir.
It does. Well, best of luck to you, and best of luck to the Mountain Lions for the rest of the season.
Yes, sir.
We'll come back. We'll have more right after this. Welcome back. Glad to have you along with us. Chris Ferdinand joins me. Last season was one of those, Chris, in which great expectations and then things simply didn't go the way any of us wanted to go, as you got hurt early on, weren't available throughout most of the season. Talk to us a little bit about the rehab process and just the enthusiasm of being able to come back for one more season with Mars Hill.
All right, rehab process was tough at first because I kept dealing with injuries and I wasn't used to it. But I had all the Alan Shetty and all of my coaches behind me, keeping me up. Even when I felt down on myself, they kept me going, telling me it's going to get better. Even when I didn't believe it got a lot better. In the spring, I had a great spring, and everything just kept getting better and better. And then summer, I had a great summer, came in fall camp, and then great. Just been excited ever since. Trying to get better every day.
I can tell you just from some behind-the-scenes conversations that I would hear and have with some folks, there were a lot of people pulling for you, and we're glad to have you back out in the thick of things. This year you've got 8 solo tackles, 8 assists, right in the thick of everything. Haven't missed a step seemingly. Talk to us a little bit about, it's a little bit different position for you this year, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Well, it's a different position, but I'm always the attack type of person, so it just fit perfectly. Coaches put me in a spot where they think they can help the team best, so I just feel like it's just best for me and the whole team. I'm closer to the ball, can make more plays, and I got a lot of people around me that can make plays too, and I can help them make plays. So just as a leader, I just took the task around with it.
Well, in that you're talking about being a leader, and that's something that's kind of been a theme, I think, through this broadcast we talked about, and really is a theme for this season, that so many of you are stepping up and stepping into those roles, and it's beginning to show that everybody is getting that more focused attention to the task at hand. And based on what Coach was saying, and just knowing some of you guys, we're going to really begin to see that show, particularly probably coming up Saturday against Lenoir-Rhyne.
Yes, sir. The leaders have to really just express ourselves to the other players, because when they don't know how we feeling, they're just going to go out there and just do whatever. They follow us because we're leaders, and also we have to come this week with high energy and supreme focus, because without it, it would just be lost out there. So this week we're going to, Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going hard. We're going to come back Saturday night, and we're going to be a good one.
It will be. It's always an interesting matchup when the Mountain Lions and the Bears get together. Homestead, Florida, home for you.
Yeah.
So how does a young man like you end up in the Carolina Mountains all the way from Homestead, Florida?
Well, it started with Keyshawn Taylor. He's from Homestead, Florida. We went to high school together. I was at junior college in California. I called him. I told him I got a couple offers from the SAC. A couple schools offered me, but I was like, if I'm going to come to the SAC, I'm going to come play with you guys. just I went to high school with you guys. It was him and Gilbert Johnson at the time. Coach Gills called me, gave me the scholarship, and without a doubt, I just knew I was coming here. And since I've been here, it felt like home. Having this to be.
We like hearing that. We really do. Well, one of the things, whether it's Austin, whether it's you, or so many of your teammates, you find that family atmosphere here, and that's one of the trademarks that I've been able to enjoy as Coach Clifton, his 26 years here. That's been a key to this program, and I think it shows, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. It does.
Makes a big difference. We appreciate you not getting discouraged. We appreciate you hanging in there, and we appreciate your efforts out here on a Saturday afternoon. In this case, it's going to be Saturday evening down in Hickory. We're going to come back, have some little bit of discussion about Lenoir-Rhyne and the task at hand for the Mountain Lions right after this. Welcome back. Tim Clifton, last year, season opener, Mountain Lions and LR got together here in Mayor Stadium. 43-28 game. Should we see similar contests this year? Is it going to be a little bit different? They've given some of their opening competition fits, haven't they?
Yeah, they played West Alabama, who's one of the best in the country, and lost with about 12, 13 seconds left.
36-32, West Alabama.
And West Alabama scored with like 12 seconds left in the game, or something of that nature, and then they went to North Greenville and really put it on North Greenville.
51 points on the board.
I was hoping you weren't going to say
51 points.
I was hoping you weren't going to say
but
that.
they got it out of their system.
Well, I hope so.
There you go. They'll be tired.
They are, they're a team that the last 2 years was real young, and those kids, they fought through some adversity. They're a young team, and now those guys are older, and those guys have been in the program, and I think they remind me of the 2011 and 12 LR teams that were really, really, really good. They are really talented, and they play extremely hard, and they got some guys that have been in the conference for a while and know how to play at this level, and I think they'll be hard to reckon with for everybody. They run the football like they did 3 years ago. 3 and 4 years ago, they were a running football team, and then the last several years they've been more of a zone and trying to throw the ball with it. But this crowd right here can run the football.
From a coaching standpoint, Drew Connick down there is the new head coach. From a preparation standpoint for your coaching staff, how difficult is it when there's a new guy in it coaching an opponent? Because it's not like when Ken Sparks was at Carson Newman year in and year out. It's not like you got to they've been through a couple of changes of coaches. So is that challenging?
Well, I don't know. I think they've been through so many changes over the years, and I think a lot of times that takes away from your continuity. But I think Cronick, I think he's a heck of a football coach, and I thought Ian, when he was there a few years ago, was a heck of a football coach, and you go through some periods, but you look at the teams that are stable over the years. Wingett's been stable over the years, and Joe's been there, and Newberry's been stable, and Todd's been there, and Carson Newman was stable with Ken, and the teams that have guys that have been in the league a while, those schools are pretty stable, and I think Drew has done a great job. You look at it, man, I think he's done a great job. I think he stepped in a situation that had some players. I think he's taken them and made them better.
It's a good time to show up.
Yeah, I mean, coming in when there's a lot of depth there and a lot of good players, and I think he's done it. I think with having from what I understand, they had a lot of guys there this summer. When you can bring your guys in, that many guys in the summer and work all summer, I think it gives you an opportunity. And I think they were able to get their guys in there and keep installing some of the new things they're doing. But I think they've done a great job. And he hired one of our former players and former coaches, Michael Ramseur, who played here for us, and then Michael came here and coached for us. Mm-hmm. Michael was a really good offensive line coach here for us, and a really good offensive lineman here, and he hired him, and they got Mike closer to home, he and his family, because he's from right there in Maiden. I don't want to say Hickory because he'll get mad, but he was from Maiden.
The greater Hickory metro area.
And but he hired Michael. He called me when he first got the job, and Michael did and said, I'd like to try to get home. And I called Coach Cronick, and he took the advice to hire Michael Ramseur. He got a really good football coach, but he got a great man. That guy is a great man and has a great family, and he's a typical graduate of Marcel, of who played for us, and the kind of guys that have played for us over the years. And I'm really proud of Michael. I told him when he took the job, you can recruit as hard as you want, but when we come to town, you gotta leave. You gotta get
that works.
You gotta get out of the household, and you can't recruit him anymore.
That works.
But they've done a good job, and they've worked at it, and it is when you come in and you got some players, it's nice to step into. But you still got to make that thing happen, and they have done that.
We talked early on about developing the running game. We've got that as a focus for this week. What else should we be looking for that if these things happen, the line should be in pretty good shape?
Well, we've got to get better at the run game. We definitely got to get better in the red zone on offense, and we got to get better on third down on defense and offense. And we got to continually improve in our kicking game. You know, that's they got the best kick returner, punt returner. He's got to be the best in the country, and he got us last year, and he got West Al, and he got North Greenville, and we probably need to let the air out of that thing before he gets his hands on it. But I think those guys have, they've been there a while, and they're working at it, and their football team has made great strides.
Series 23-20-1. Mars Hill leading the series overall. First meeting going back to 1973. LR winning that one 23-20. The last win by the Mountain Lions last year, 43-28 by the Bears. 2014 a 45-17 victory by Lenoir-Rhyne. Mountain Lions on the road at Hickory. Kickoff scheduled for 6 o'clock. Keep an eye on the Lion website just in case with the weather, in case anything changes. That will be where you will have the first notification. For Tim Clifton, I'm Stuart Jolly. Thank you for being part of Mountain Lion Athletics. We'll talk with you next week. Till then, so long for now.
MHU on three. 1, 2, 3.
MHU.